I get a lot of comments from people asking me messages as well where I'm from, if I'm Filipino, if I am Greek, if I am from Finland and whatnot. I just wanted to make a quick video a little bit about my background, where I come from, and how I got here. So it's been some time since my last video, and my mother was visiting us from the States. My mom lives in America, and she hasn't met our second daughter, my baby Melina, which is now 6 months old. And it's the first time my mother sees her after she was born. And you know, we're spending a lot of time doing family things. So the first thing is that I was born in London, England. Both my parents are from Venezuela.
El imperialismo y mismo dio la orden.
I grew up in Venezuela up until I was 5 years old, roughly, and we moved to Canada in Ottawa in the early 80s. I am actually dating myself by saying that. I was living the Canadian life, which is playing hockey. Back in those days, Michael Jackson was around with Thriller, and Van Halen with the jump videos and all of these things. I was very much into actually hockey back in those days. Anyways, I just want to make it a quick. I don't want to bore you with my background and where I come from and where I've lived and whatnot. We went back to Venezuela as well. After that, I pretty much graduated in high school and did all my high school in Venezuela. And as well, I study over there in Venezuela. I study sound engineering in a college, and actually managed to get a job in a studio as well. My mother moved away to the States. I stayed behind in Venezuela, and at that point, I have never been to England. So I was always wanted to go back to the place where I was born, and as soon as I finished college, I started working in a recording studio back home in Venezuela. Great experience, and I learned a lot. Those were the days where I started recording, actually, but this is way before computers and all of that. This is back in 1996, 97. I still didn't have access to Pro Tools back then. I learned the old school way, really, with tapes, and it's much different nowadays. So thank God for technology. But anyways, I moved again, and I went to America for a few years. I did like a little bit of going back and forth from America to Venezuela, not knowing what to do. I was like in my early 20s, really. I quit everything, you know. I quit my girlfriend back home in Venezuela. I quit my job in the recording studio. I had a band as well, a rock band, which it became a little bit successful back then, after I left, actually. But I was one of the founding members with another friend from high school. And I did some traveling, searching for stuff to do and to get away from... not get away from Venezuela, but I just wanted to get to England, really, to see the place where I was born and just get there, you know, just lived and traveled and experienced different stuff. And I got to London, the place where I was born, and just one of those things, you know, when you're born abroad and you're always being told, you know, you were born here or there, and you know, coming from a family of a South American family, to be told that you were born in a place like England. It always has this kind of like, I don't know if it's glamorous or this wow kind of wow factor for us back home in South America. So I always say like, well, one day I'm gonna get to England, because I never went back. I was just born there, and went back home and then lived in Canada. Canada was, like I said, many memories there as well. But all my high school and my teenage years, I will say, up until my early 20s, I lived in Venezuela. So those were very, very formative. They form my character, I guess, or my early adulthood. So I get to England, and that's where I met my wife, actually. and I started working as well in Denmark Street in the guitar shops. And I lived in England for like 10 years, and after that my daughter was born. But the main thing with all of this is that now I have lived away. I have lived in many places, really, in chunks of year, and I don't consider myself either Venezuelan or English or American or Greek or Canadian or anything. I just consider myself just somebody who has been moving a lot. And I find Greece to be actually home away from home, or my only home really at this point. Now being a father and married and working from home as well is a very important aspect of my life. Here in my household we speak English. I speak English with my wife. And the reason why is because when we were living in England, we will speak in English, and I didn't speak any Greek back then, and I learned Greek eventually. And with my kids, I speak Spanish, English, and of course Greek. My background in all of this is just one of those things, you know. I don't feel nationalities at this point. My household is multicultural nationalities. My wife is Greek. My first daughter, Fedra, was born in England. She's been raised here in Greece. My second daughter was born here in Greece. We speak 3 different languages, and you know, it's one of those things. You know, I'm really blessed, really. So that's the story, man. You know, I hope you guys are doing well. Hopefully, this video is not so boring. Some of you are curious to see, to learn where I'm from and what I'm about to. Why am I here in Greece? Why do I live in Greece? And you know, hopefully these videos are not that boring for you guys to watch. And yeah, man. Again, thanks a lot for all the support and all the love and all the comments and reaching out. And hope you guys are doing great, having an amazing day, and see you on the other side of success, man. Rock and roll.